clear team fighter. Naru is willing to pick up the likes of Lissandra that is banned away and smash people with it.
Oh, we'll have to see if he can smash someone with another champion here. It's like you mentioned, Lissandra already being banned out here as we head into Champion Select between Detonation FocusMe and SuperMassive eSports. Bard, or Bardo, is already banned out as well as Alistar and Brom, and we banned out on the side of SuperMassive.
They certainly are.
It's Rise is going to be the next ban out coming from Det FocusMe, so they don't want Naru or possibly Fabulous is going to be playing this game for SuperMassive to pick up that champion.
So Fab back in the top lane again. Interesting that Tholdrin, who played against the Chiefs, is not playing on these game 2 days.
He wasn't very fabulous last time around. We'll see if he can come fabulous one more time here for SuperMassive, as Echo is going to be the final ban that rounds out the 3 coming out from SuperMassive. They don't want you to pick up that champion. We have to see what they lock in first. Immediately, Det FocusMe. They're going to be focusing on Gragas as their first pick coming in here. At least a lot of very strong picks to be picked up during the second rotation on red side.
Yeah, so Naru straight away goes towards something like the Azir. He's shown time and time again how classy he is on that mid lane. I would not be surprised to see them pick it up. A Chu a little bit more aggressive in the likes of Lucian would be nice to see, a welcome change. Quite a lot of conversation coming out right now.
We'll have to see what SuperMassive decide to pick up during the second rotation. Like I mentioned, a lot of picks still left open. All the major supports being banned out here.
Yeah.
No Alistar, no Brom, no Bard coming in here.
I'm expecting Maokai as it. There it is.
And that's what's going to be locked in. So Maokai most likely going into the top lane. Azir going to be picked up here. That should be played by Naru, which means they're not going to be behind their mid lane for their final pick. Neither their solo lane is going to be behind.
The reason I like it is because this team comp is great with and against Kindred. And it's one of the most powerful junglers we've seen at the moment. Catch played it last game. So all of a sudden, Kindred's priority kind of lessens. And you see that potentially going towards the Nidalee pickup.
And we mentioned that all the supports have been banned out here. All the major supports, Alistar, Brom, Bard, all being taken away. That means none of the junglers have been touched so far. Gragas was picked up by Det FocusMe, but we've seen across multiple regions it can be flexed up into the top lane. So we'll have to see if it's Catch or Yutapon that might be picking up that champion.
I think right now, as we see the tournament lie, it's actually Gragas going to be evolving much more into a top laner than he is a jungler. Oh. Kalista is available, but no Alistar, so you know, can't have that 100%. But 100% win rate guaranteed, can't be tarnished is what I'm trying to say.
They've got blue side, they don't quite have the Alistar to complete that combo, so you know, breaking it a little bit, but you know, might give them a little bit of a buff. As Catch locks in the Nidalee as well, so one of the S tier junglers that we see very popular, has a lot of clear being picked up from the side of Det. Everyone's picked up, and look at that, very fast lock-ins coming in from SuperMassive eSports.
One more time, Dumbledore's gonna play Poppy.
Dumbledore's very lucky he's Poppy down in that bottom lane. Very happy with that pick.
It's like he's trying to convince us, like, guys, I'm not a Bard player anymore. I am a Poppy main.
Ban the Poppy so I can get Bard.
Yeah, exactly right. We didn't mention it, but Seros's Zilean is available.
That's right, it's actually being hovered over by that FM as well. So we wait to see what their final pickups in this matchup will be. They were targeting out Eternal a little bit with those support bans, or maybe he knows Dumbledore's a little bit angry. He's like, you ban my Bard, I'll ban 2 of your supports.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case, but right now, would like a Trundle pickup because it will force QSS out of Fabulous at some point in the game, because he's going to continually be altered. And because it is a support Trundle, doesn't really sacrifice any part of the laning phase or split pushing. And Trundle Zilean looks to be the case here.
That is going to be locked in. So the infamous, or famous I should say now, Zilean pickup for the Japanese lineup is going to be locked in. They surprised the world when they first locked it in their international tournaments, and now in a standard ban against them. At this time we should be seeing that.
I think if you never watched the LJL, it surprised you. Anyone that had actually watched the game understood exactly why he does not get it. He is a great Zilean player, and I wonder now whether Naru goes towards something like a cleanse. It's very hard to take teleport on Azir in a matchup where there is legitimate kill threat, and with Nidalee and Zilean, that is the case. The slow, the double bombs. Zilean has a lot of power in his kit that people don't account for.
And since his bombs were changed to be a skill shot, so to speak, instead of a targeted spell, and now stuns as well when you hit those double bombs. So locking him down in that mid lane, allowing that speed to get. Going to be very devastating for the Azir. We have to see what he
changed like a year and a half ago.
Very long ago, but
yeah.
I still, you know, remember Azir very fondly when I used to just double bomb people and cheese my way for Elo in mid lane.
I was like in diapers when Zilean had targeted bombs with double.
Really? I don't think so.
Maybe. But, as we said, Kindred awesome with and against this composition, so they lock in Kindred as their last pick. Storm Mage.
Two very strong junglers being picked up here by both teams, actually. As we mentioned before, support's being banned out, left all those picks open and available for these two teams. What do you think so far, Spawn? The lineups have been locked in. We're not too sure if it's going to be double teleport or if Azir's going to change that summon spell. We have to see when we get into the game. But what do you think so far?
So I think so far that they've given the two mid laners their two best champions. So Azir versus Zilean, Naru versus Seros. So I'm very excited to see how this game is going to eventuate. I also think that Lucian Poppy, especially Dumbledore's Lucian, is going to be an incredible aggressive lane. So on the side of Detonation FocusMe, Eternal and Zerost need to be careful with how they treat this lane. Potentially look for a swap because Gragas is quite good in the lane swap situation. Jungles very, very quickly, has all AoE skills. And yeah, it's just something that you have to watch out for. But really, just comes down to the mid laner. I just want to sit there all game and watch Zilean smack.
Just watch it?
Yeah, try and take on this Azir. Because as I said, there's really cool things that you can do with Zilean, but Naru is a master Azir player.
And you know what? They have the blue side now. FM, they have the blue side buff.
I don't buy into it.
6 games.
Don't care. Like 11 games if you take in TSM versus CLG as well. So lots of games I didn't get to see the blue versus red side for Europe, unfortunately. Where Gamers 2 were able to pick that up. So congratulations for going to MSI, Gamers 2 as well as CLG. Huge games there over in the NAN European LCS. I'm going to have to watch the VODs. But right now, like as I said, don't buy the blue side buff. Just, you know.
Don't buy it. They don't have Kalista Alistar, so it's not confirmed.
No, it's not that at all. I don't buy any of this crap. It's just correlation of causation. You guys pointed a pattern. Like if it had gone red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, you guys would be going, oh my god. Every second game blue side buff. This is awesome.
You know what? We actually found a pattern with yesterday's games. That's exactly what we did.
Yeah, I know. I know how the team works. So yeah, correlations, I don't really think that they equal causation right now.
Well, we'll have to see if SuperMassive can confirm that for Spawn here. We will load it onto the ref very shortly, but it seems like we're having a short pause between these two teams. We'll have to see if those technical difficulties are going to be resolved anytime soon. But we were talking about the matchups earlier. We saw, you know, Zilean in the mid lane against Naru's Azir. That's going to be a feature matchup.
Yep.
Anything else that we're looking for coming into this game?
Yeah, as I said, it's kind of aggressive versus passive for the bottom lane. So Trundle with Kalista versus the Lucian Poppy. So I think that that's the other exciting area to watch. Like mid lane's going to be control mages, two of the best going at it, but aggressive versus supportive style AD carry duos. So we'll see how that affects the rest of the map, whether we get our lane swap, whether we get standard lanes and get to see Dumbledore try and put in work.
And we see two very farm-dominant junglers coming into this matchup as well. Nidalee going to be picked up on the side of DetonatioN. We're going to see Kindred being picked up as well. What can we expect from these two players?
Well, you just said it, farming. I guess they're both really good gankers as well. Like, there's a reason they're ST. They do both things very well. They also control neutrals really well. It really depends how the junglers want to play them. If you get double buffs, you can gank as Kindred really easily. Same thing can be said for Nidalee. But honestly, if we see lane swap, it's probably just going to be a lot of turret pushing. Both of them do that incredibly well as well. So yeah, right now the game is wide open. Like you can play any playstyle with the two comps they've picked up.
We'll have to see what playstyle that is going to be between these two teams. Unfortunately, the referees are still checking and waiting on a confirmation on the technical difficulty. We should be getting back into the game very shortly. But so far, this is the final game of IWCI today. There's been 6 games played so far today. It's been blown at wide open. Teams have caused upsets here and there. It's almost even between a lot of these teams. I
mean, you have a look at it in LAN Gaming, able to pick up a victory. You know, Ezra is picking up another victory that puts them at, I think, 2-2. They're doing really well at the moment. So, like, even the Latin American teams starting to pick it up. You know, INTZ, unfortunately, upset a little bit today. You know, Chiefs able to pick up a win, so they go back to 1-2. Everyone's kind of clawing it back, and some of the top teams are faltering. As I said, no one really feels secure in their standings right now, apart from Hard Random, who are 3-0 and looking very safe. But this tournament, as you said, blown wide open. No idea who's going to get anywhere. You know, you would still expect the big regions like Turkey and Brazil to step it up as this goes along. TCL and CBLOL have been like around and dominant for a very long time in IWC regions, but it's anyone's game.
So unfortunately, we just got confirmation of the technical difficulty. It seems like Japan's support is not able to hear his teammates over comms at the moment. So we're waiting to fix that as soon as possible. And I've just been told we're actually going to get back into the game right now, as that has been resolved between these two teams. So we're going to go into the game very shortly. It is level 1 here. We're going to see any changes from these two teams. You know, we see a little bit of lane swaps here and there today, but not too much. But we see a lane swap being initiated.
Well, all the lane swaps have been blind, so I expect that DetonatioN FocusMe will try and lane swap away from it, and I expect SuperMassive to just match that lane swap. No one's really pushing into deep for deep vision, so it's a little bit different. However, we are into Summoner's Rift, so we'll get to find out for ourselves.
So we fix Eternal's comms. He's able to talk to his teammates once again, ask for the Fate's calls from Zeros when he absolutely needs it. But, like you mentioned, Small, we are on to Summoner's Rift. We have to see if a lane swap is initiated by either of these teams. So far, though, it looks like Catch setting up a lot of traps up on the top side of the jungle, waiting to try and start on his Grump and move on towards the blue buff. As interesting enough, Fabulous is going to be throwing down those saplings to help out Kindred with her clear up in the top side.
Makes sense. You don't want Kindred to get too far behind in the jungle. And it looks like we are going to get standard lanes, so Gauntlet thrown out of Eternal and Zerost.
So Seros and Naru will not have the isolated mid lane that we commonly see during lane swaps here. As bomb's already been thrown down onto the Azir, asserting dominance as the Time Winder. He's going to be trying to farm it out against this Azir. Two heavy punching mid laners going up against each other in this matchup. We have to see who comes out on top. In the bottom lane, both of the AD carries and supports were able to take down a camp at level 1, so do get a slight experience advantage for themselves. Going to be able to farm it up nicely. Let's see who's able to get that level 2 faster so far. Both the melee minions just being traded between the two teams. It will be DetonatioN that picks up the level 2 first, and now it's just going to be taking a lot of damage from the side of SuperMassive. In fact, gets chunked down incredibly low by Eternal and Zerost. And right away, Dumbledore and him have to back off here, already blowing potions.
And I think that's the second time that SuperMassive haven't really respected the level 2 of a team composition coming in. They don't get it first by pushing up. I mean, Lucian doesn't really have any excuse to do that. He has AoE.
On the top side of the map, Fabulous already be able to push out Utapon slightly, hit level 2 up on the top lane first, as well as Dumbledore gonna find Eternal here in the river, gets a little bit of damage down, picks up the buckler. The slam into the wall as well. There's a lot of damage down onto this Trundle, but immediately turned around by Eternal, trying to bite him and club him away. Just a support brawl going out between these two teams. They want blood against one another.
Yeah, they certainly do. Storm Aged a little bit closer down there, already onto one of his marks, whereas Catch was on his red buff, so good job there from Eternal to just trade back.
Stormrage still has to clear away 2 of his camps here, whereas Catch, he's completed an entire jungle clear already. That Nidalee is incredibly quick in the jungle. We'll have to see if he can continue to keep it up. He has about a 4 CS lead for himself, which is nothing this early, but we'll have to see if that progresses later on in the game. As the mid lane going as we expected, you know, both of them just clashing heads, trading back and forth wherever they can.
Yeah, exactly right. Trading kind of health for mana right now, Naru and Seros. Nidalee is very quickly, but important to note that Stormage actually goes past and gets himself a mark in the meantime on one of the Rift Scuttlers. So that's going to give him some more gold as well as a little bit of extra damage. As Seros,
he's going to be teleporting back into the mid lanes. Naru does a little bit of a Shurima shuffle into another bomb here. He's going to head back to base. Does have his teleport available and could potentially head back into lane ASAP, as well as Utapon and Fabulous still up in the top lane, duking out against one another. Catch here, he's level 4, does have the double buff on Nidalee. Going to be able to jump over this wall here. Fabulous not going to spot him out with that ward, but it seems like the only thing on Nidalee's mind right now is farming it up. And that's exactly what she heads into the jungle to do.
Yeah, and Nidalee just farms so incredibly effectively. But you can see also has a red smite, so we'll be able to get good damage. They've equalized top lane, which means they can look for it. Here we go, first gank of the game.
He's close by, we'll be able to throw the spear down to Fabulous. He's going to try and dodge this one now. Throws it, nice twisted advance coming in from Fabulous to get away from that spear, but still going. Taking a lot of damage, has to flash away. Utapon takes one too many tower shots, but Fabulous still gets out of there.
Yeah, a little bit of mis-execution there out of the Gragas and Nidalee. Nidalee gives a little bit of a escape route there for Fabulous.
You know, timing that one a little bit poorly as well. The spear came out at the same time to his advance.
Here comes Stormage.
He's looking for the wraparound onto Gragas. Utapon immediately flashing a body slam away, but Stormage follows it up. He might be able to pick up a solo queue. Wolf's Mark is down. First blood goes over to Kindred.
Yeah, fantastic work out of SuperMassive's jungler there to recognize that wants to stay up in the top lane as Utapon doesn't want to get frozen out on a lot of that CS. That's big news. But still, Zeros and Eternal continue to bully here in the bottom lane.
Dumbledore and Achu have been able to keep up in CS quite nicely against Zeros and Eternal. It's dead even in that lane so far, but like you mentioned, bullying going on. Lucian still taking a lot of damage. Dumbledore tries to get in there to help out his Lucian, but just not working out. FM being pretty dominant in this bottom lane so far.
Somehow with Lucian and Poppy, I don't think the aim is to go equal. I think it's to win the lane, and right now it definitely is not the case. So fantastic work out of Detonation FocusMe's bottom lane, honestly.
And we've seen the first back come out for the mid laners already. Naru, he was able to force Seros to back first, so he's able to pick up one extra item for himself, gets the boots a little bit early, going to help him out. A bit of movement speed in the lane, dodging out the bombs wherever he possibly can. Zilean only picked up those 2 rings, but no health potions in the mid lane for either of them, so they can potentially poke each other out wherever possible. The junglers so far have picked up their red smites, which is a common trend we've seen in recent competitive play. Nidalee still able to farm it out a little bit more, but importantly, Stormage able to pick up a lot of marks and also a lot of ganks, has been able to gank, up in the top lane. Get Utapon down, burn that flash, get Fabulous going up in the top lane on his Maokai. And Zeros misses both his double bombs. They're going to take a lot of damage. He's low on mana as well. Naru doing a pretty decent job in this mid lane.
Yeah, certainly is. So Naru showing his dominance on Azir. As I said, he's a very good Azir player. Zeros has got his signature pick as well and going to have to stick around for this. It's very hard to kill Zilean, especially under turret. But it looks like Naru wants to try and make a job of it.
He's been doing a pretty decent job at that. It's 10 CS up, already forcing Zeros on the turret, forcing him to recall here, which is huge for Naru. He's going to get a free recall for himself. In fact, it's Eternal that gets sent up to this mid lane to hold the fort here, giving a little bit of breathing room for Supermassive bot lane, who has been struggling a little bit in this game.
Yeah, it certainly does. So, nice job there. Achu goes back, picks himself up a BF sword, and you feel like this is kind of his second chance to assert dominance. So he does exactly that, dashes into Zeros and gets some nice damage down.
I hope the spectator pants up a little bit though, because Dumbledore and Eternal, they're at it again. He's just slammed him into a wall. The supports just want to keep fighting here in the bottom lane. As they both make their way back down, Culling going to be put down by Lucian to try and get a lot of damage on the Trundle. Does just that. Dumbledore looking to try and wrap around here. He's going to go for it. Slams Zeros into the wall. Ignite goes down. Dumbledore picks up a swift kill in the bottom lane.
Yeah, what a play out of Dumbledore. And you know, there's not that much difference between support Poppy and top lane Poppy at the start of the game, because they both just build health at the start. And you saw that Dumbledore able to get in there with a flash wallbang, able to pick up a good kill there for himself. Last time we saw him pick up first blood as well, I believe, however.
And that relieves so much pressure from this bottom lane, which was going heavily in favor of FocusMe. And they are now 1,000 gold behind Supermassive. A Stormage trying to, put on his best Kindred impersonation because he's playing the champion and take away as many camps as possible from this Nidalee.
Yeah, it actually looks like they're going to be able to get the turret organically as well. No gank or anything coming down there. It's just Dumbledore doing Dumbledore things.
Denying a lot of minions as well away from Zeros, who's an entire level behind Lucian at the moment. This turret will eventually fall down. Low mana on both Dumbledore and Lucian, so should not be able to progress any further and be any more aggressive. But still, big lead coming in for Supermassive. They're about 2,000 gold up 9 minutes into this game.
2,500 gold up. That is a massive lead right now. And you can see the dominance, 16 CS as well as a turret and a kill in that bottom lane. They'll start up the dragon for themselves as well, and with superior control over this, they'll be able to grab it.
Definitely fitting for their team's name so far, as dragon will also fall on over for Supermassive, so picking up objectives wherever they can. Zeros finally picks up the blue buff for himself. He's about 10 CS behind Naru right now. He's been doing a pretty good job on this Azir, poking the Zilean out of lane wherever possible. As we take a look up in the top lane, another 10 CS discrepancy for the side of Detonation FocusMe, as Fabulous is 71 to the 61 previously of the Gragas. Picked up his Balmy Cinder, does have the ring as well to help him with his corrupting potion regenerations. And the lane's just naturally winning so far from Supermassive all across the map. His catch going to be landing a spear to the top lane. Has to actually flash over the wall here, as Fabulous was threatening a twisted advance. But a swap is actually going to be coming out from Supermassive. They send their AD carry support up into the top lane.
Yeah, so they want to be able to trade another turret here, open up the map further, continue to pressure. So very nice job there. And, you mentioned the flash out of catch, just caught out in the wrong place at the wrong time. Zeros is a one member that can probably be excused of having a CS discrepancy. I mean, Utapon got ganked early, and that's where his came from. But Gragas should be completely fine in the matchup, whereas it is a hard matchup for Zilean against Azir. A lot of control, especially after the first couple of shops come out.
Very good rotations coming out from SuperMassive, able to trade their turrets once again. I believe they should be able to take down this top lane eventually, but Dumbledore looking for a dive onto the Zilean. The ultimate is going to wear out shortly. Naro did a good job of burning that one from Seras, but here comes Stormage to poke around. And see that he's not quite at the first turret anymore.
But how much damage can they get done here? Because he's going to be able to pick up a camp for himself. Fabulous picks up top lane turret, and there's no response, as well as a lot of pressure now mounting in this mid lane. And he's over
the wall. Going to try and jump onto Userpawn. Does get the slowdown. Lots of auto attacks coming out as well. Does get the third proc. Going to be able to chunk down Userpawn quite a bit there. No kill pressure just yet, but still. SuperMassive exerting dominance over Summoner's Rift so far.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they've got a huge lead. Still about 2,000. They're going to pick themselves up another neutral for themselves.
Looking towards the Rift Herald. Dumbledore and Stormage going to start this one up with Fabulous. As the Choose being moved down into the bottom lane for now to match the pressure coming from Zerost. The Rift Herald will eventually fall. We'll have to see who they give this one over to.
Catch looking for a catch in the bottom lane, does nail him.
Gets the spear onto Achu, but no pressure coming out from the rest of his members there. Lucian just able to get away.
Yeah, but nice damage there. Reminds him that Nidalee's still pretty good right now.
We take a look at the mid lane one more time. Stinger already picked up by Naro, looking to complete his Nash's Tooth as soon as possible. So a big spike for Azir will come out shortly. On the side of Seros, only has the components for his Rod of Ages, so looking to try and pick that one up to scale as soon as possible. Userpawn now, he hasn't been having a good time up at this top lane. Keeps seeing the likes of Kindred move in towards his lane, giving him a headache every now and then. Zachu looking for the completed items for his Essence Reaver shortly. The Lucian going to slowly push out this lane. Picked up the Cull as well, slowly ticking. Zeros has one for himself, looking for the Blade of Ruin King shortly. But for now, after the aggressive early game coming out from SuperMassive, they've taken a back step here, you know, playing a little bit more passive, just farming it out wherever they possibly can.
Yeah, well, you have to look at where their, I guess, pressure points are around the map. As Naru...
Catch going to be thrown back here. Naru goes in deep. The ultimate's been popped on him by Seros. Going to keep the Nidalee alive once he goes down. SuperMassive, they do have the tree here as well. Teleport's coming in, but Dumbledore, he slammed, catches the wall. The Ignite's going to be enough to take him down. Gragas is going to be ejected from the team fight as well. SuperMassive, a very clean kill from the team.
Yeah, and you said slowing down. Instead, they dive into the mid lane turret. Now with this buff, Achu putting some bolts into Userpawn.
Takes a lot of damage. The culling does come out. That turret is really low. Catch, one more attack would have been enough. The Pillar does come up to slow down the Azir, but still, SuperMassive putting a lot of pressure onto this mid lane outer turret.
And Dumbledore is just without hesitation on the Poppy right now. Flashes in, cleans up Seros on the back end of that. So the Zilean pick not doing wonders so far. Is a late game scaling mage that will be able to bring back one person with pretty much full health. As Achu gets a little bit chunked out there, needs to go back.
Take a look at the score really quickly. It's 3-0 in terms of kills for SuperMassive. 2 turrets to 1 as well. I'm going to be able to pick up that mid lane turret shortly too, so increasing that advantage quite nicely for SuperMassive. They're 3,000 gold ahead of Detonation FocusMe. That's without that mid turret falling too. So nice early lead for themselves. They're looking very strong here, the Turkish region. As Achu and Naru going to try and work on this turret in the mid lane as soon as possible. This should go down to the push.
Yeah, it certainly will. So Seros loses out on his mid lane turret at only 14 minutes into the game. That is now 4,500 gold. The lead for the TCL lineup, of course. They just look so comfortable in their current picks, and I have to go back to the draft and just question giving Naru his Azir. It's something that we've seen pretty much religiously banned away from him, and he's coming up pretty big in this game.
Certainly has. 20 CS ahead of Seros right now. That mid lane taken down. Poked him out of lane so many times. Naru looking dominant. We have to see if he keeps up that performance. Dragon's going to respawn in about 30 seconds here. You would have to think that SuperMassive would like to contest for this objective, possibly set up for it. And I feel like Detonation FocusMe, they almost have to give it up here. It would be difficult for them to contest for this one.
Yeah, I certainly think so. Especially with that gold lead right now. Naru flies in, trying to look for a play.
Pillar's
Scoop
going to
someone
come
back.
Nidalee looking for the flank, but wasn't quite able to get it. So the Sun turret will eventually fall down. 5 seconds till that dragon does respawn. As Lucian going to be pushing out the bottom lane slow and steady. Nobody there to contest, and the rest of Detonation FocusMe, they're stuck in the mid lane, dealing with the push coming out from SuperMassive. That leaves Dumbledore and Stormage to take down this Dragon.
Yeah, well, it wasn't going to be a realistic contest anyway. You have a look at the completed items right now, and it's just much higher for the SuperMassive lineup. Naru will be able to pick up his blue buff briefly. And once again, we have one of these mini respites, whilst I'm sure we wait for Dumbledore's flash to become available one more time so we can flash kill another member of Detonation FocusMe.
And that was a Dragon pickup with Stormage having his jungle item completed, so going to be stacking that one up slowly here. He's got his Boots of Swiftness, looking for the Hex Drinker next as well, it seems, with that Null Magic Mantle. And lots of long swords to go around on this Kindred, slowly stacking up nicely.
I don't know if he's slowly stacking up. I think he's done a pretty good job of accelerating the pace of which he's farming out this game. I mean, so far they've got 2 Scuttle Crabs, a Dragon, as well as a Rift Herald since he's been able to pick this one up. He's going to be able to go into another one here. So nicely played by Stormage, honestly.
Be keeping up nicely with Catch as well. He's only about 10 CS ahead. Normally we see Nidalee's, you know, jump ahead very far in the early game in terms of minion score and use that gold leaf for himself to get ahead. Dumbledore's just going to put up the shield. He's able to stop Utapor from body slamming into his face. That's SuperMassive slowly taking control of FocusMe's. Catch going to get slammed against wall. Dumbledore, that's not exactly where you want to be pouncing over towards Catch. As Stormage just going to aggressively jump forward. Even gets the proc and the mark onto Kindred to pick up that kill.
Yeah, so well played there out of Dumbledore, but Catch, don't know really what the idea was there, but regardless, the execution was pretty shocking because you hopped over a wall into 2 members of SuperMassive that you pretty much knew were there. They're going to be able to pick themselves up another Rift Herald for their troubles.
And you know what? I wanted to talk about SuperMassive picking up the objectives here because I thought there was no way that Catch was going to jump over for that, but just like that, Stormage now has 28 stacks on his Say to Devour, so you're absolutely right, Spotty's really quick with picking this one up.
Yeah, 100%. He's going to be done by about 18 minutes into this game. That's a very fast clip to be able to get that one done.
So you have to think, Detonation FocusMe now. We talked about this before. A lot of pressure on them in this
They're
tournament.
on the ropes. They're 5,500 gold down at 17 minutes into the game. This is an absolute disaster of an early game for Detonation FocusMe. So we'll see whether they're able to claw it back. They do have a good scaling composition. We already mentioned it in the Zillion Kindred. Callista, being able to keep Callista nice and safe to go huge in the latter stages of the game. But, you know, against Azir, against Lucian, Kindred, Maokai, even Dumbledore, honestly, is just going to get bigger and bigger.
This might be one step forward for Detonation FocusMe. They try to jump onto Fabulous. They burn a lot of summoner spells there. 2 flashes trying to chase down this tree. They don't even get a pick down on the bottom lane. Not going well for Det Focus.
That's the other story of today. Chasing Maokais to no avail.
Not good.
Yeah. He seems to have their measure in the foot race right now, Maokai.
The tree is pretty fast.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
And Stormage, he was able to pick up his Seder Devour earlier off of the Krugs that he took down before heading back to base. Picked up the Hex Trigger for himself. The Seder Dirk even picked up for a little bit of extra armor penetration. Most likely going to be the more Malmortius picked up from him later on.
Yeah, certainly will be. And we've seen that this build can be incredibly successful, especially if you pair it with something. Oh, a little bit caught here.
He's going to get caught out. Nidalee going to jump onto him after landing that spear, but teleport's actually going to be coming out. The ultimate being put down by Catch, actually keeping Stormage alive for a little bit longer as the rest of SuperMassive now going to collapse onto Detonation's FocusMe. They're going to jump onto Catch first. He takes a lot of damage. Dumbledore going to come in as well, but Fabulous picks up that kill for himself. Utapon, though, in the backlines, is able to obliterate Lucian. That's still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Det Focus.
Yeah, so good work there for Det Focus, but Naru...
He's going to get taken down. The Sun Turret gets destroyed to block that kill coming out from Naru as he picks it up onto Zeros, turning it 2 for 2, and SuperMassive able to trade it nicely.
Yeah, Zeros just not respecting the fact that Naru can transverse 2 walls on this Azir pickup. Zeros didn't really see it coming either, otherwise I'm sure he would have had... Whoop.
Det Focus still want to fight here. Good ultimate for Dumbledore, knocks the Fat Man away. Seros and Eternal still chasing down on the rest of this team.
Yeah, certainly are. There's a little bit low mana on both Naru and Fab, so they'll be able to chase them off that objective there. But in the end, it is a 2-for-2 trade. Looked like right then that Detonation FocusMe were maybe going to start clawing their way back into the game, but that window, once again, firmly shut by Naru.
They still have a nice 5,000 gold in on side SuperMassive. Speaking of Naru, he's picked up his Rylos Crystal Scepter already, and he still has
He's gigantic.
A 40 CS advantage over Seros. He is massive right now, fitting to the name.
Farming on the clock. Has got 2 completed items. You can see just a book now picked up for Seros for a little bit of cooldown reduction. Expect that to go towards a Nomicon or maybe even an Athene's Unholy Grail.
And the 80k for DetonatioN. So Ross, he's picked up Runa's Hurricane as his first item on Kalista.
That's pretty standard right now to go Runar's Hurricane first. You need to be able to match the wave clear of both the Lucian as well as the Sivir in these matchups, so I like the pickup.
Lucian on the flip side, looking to complete his Zeal item to get that extra cooldown reduction that the Essence Reaver provides him eventually. But once again, we're going into a period of game where SuperMassive very content with where they're at right now, just trying to take it slow and steady, clear out the objectives wherever they can, matching the aggression of Detonation. FocusMe. Dragon comes up in about 25 seconds. It should be another contention coming out from SuperMassive though.
Yeah, it has to be. And Seros one more time. Gets chunked out.
The Soldier is putting on a lot of work today for Azir in the mid lane. Naru doing a decent job here. Stormage gets some damage down onto this turret. A couple more auto attacks would take it down, but Dragon going to be back up in 10 seconds. Zeros is in no position to get down here. Saving grace maybe for Det Focus is there's no teleport on the Malco, but it seems like they're just going to give up Dragon number 3.
Yeah, looks like that. So Dragon number 3 will fall over for Stormage. It's not a huge deal. I mean, it's still a very fed Supermassive lineup that you're walking into. And you do need to allow yourself to get 2 major items on both the Zillion as well as the Kalista before you look for the next team fight. Catch also needs to go back and grab himself that Rod of Ages eventually. So you understand that they want to keep scaling, and Supermassive, they trust in their team composition as well, so they're not really all that deterred. In fact, they've put a 12-minute timer on this game if they keep track of the Dragon the way they have so far.
Certainly have, and with the way they've been going, 12 minutes is not too bad for them. They can keep taking away objectives from DetonatioN, stop them from farming up and getting back into this game. That 12-minute mark will be difficult for Det Focus to fight the Supermassive team composition that they've lined up here today. As we see Stormage roaming through the jungle on the red side of the map for Det FocusMe. Naru gonna get jumped on here by Zeros and Catch. Puts down the Sun Turret, immediately able to trade some damage back to a double doge. He wants a piece of this needle. Ultimate being popped by Zillion to try and keep him alive. Doesn't get used. And suddenly, Supermassive, they have a chance to push for this middle lane inner turret.
Yeah, certainly doing. Unipod now caught out a little bit by Stormage.
Double Doge able to knock the AD carry out of this fight. Turret will eventually fall down. The stun does come out nicely from Seros here as Double Doge going to take a little bit of damage. Det Focus looking for a fight here, but Supermassive just going to, casually waddle away from this as the Sun Turret keeps him safe.
Yeah, Naru's already rotated into the bottom lane. Wants absolutely nothing to do with that. He's all about the objectives right now. 224 CS, still farming on the clock. Able to chunk out Udapon as well.
Udapon goes down to lane. Wants to pick up farm, meets a bird. Doesn't like his choices anymore. As we see Lucian now move up towards the top lane. Supermassive, like you mentioned, they just looking to farm wherever they possibly can. They're about 7,000 gold ahead of Det FM. And looking to just slowly increase this lane. You'd have to think that eventually they want to pull the trigger, but Stormage, he popped his ultimate there.
Little bit of a misclick.
Not good.
Oh, it's not horrible. Like, they can fight without one ultimate. What are they, 7,000 gold in the lead? I think they're all right. And, you said slowly increasing their gold lead. It's only 23 minutes and they're 7,000 gold up. I don't know how much quicker you want them to play the map right now, but they have rapidly accelerated the pace of this game, taking down 4 turrets to just the 1. And honestly, their CS margins are absolutely massive. 40 in the mid lane, 50 for AD carry.
Now we're looking for this. He was creeping slowly towards Italy, who's able to pounce away, get back to base. But you're definitely right. 23 minutes into the game with this massive gold lead. Supermassive looking good so far.
Yeah, and they can start up Dragon whenever they want. They're going to go back and another shop in for their Azir. Azir does so much damage to Baron. Dragon going to be back available soon as well. We mentioned it. Fabulous needs to go for a QSS. Picks one up. So thumbs up to Fab.
He's got a Spirit Visage and the Balmy Cinder as well, opting not to complete the Sunfire Cape like his counterpart Utapon has. But certainly ahead in terms of items. He's got 3 components so far, whereas Utapon has got that 1 completed item and only 1 component here. So big difference up in the top lane despite, relatively even scores, a killer piece, 2 assists extra going into Fab. It's a little bit of a CS advantage.
That's what happens when you get 3 extra turrets and you're in range for majority of the gold. Just able to get yourself that much further ahead. So a little bit more of his team doing the right thing, and Fabulous being, I guess, the main benefactor of that.
And
Eternal might look to face check here into Stormage.
And that's really the story of this game so far as well. Locking it down, Solari picked up for Double Doge. Only Aegis on the side of Eternal there. Zeros looking to complete his play of the Rune King. 2 full items on Achu right now with a BF sword to boot. So Supermassive looking to abuse their item advantage for now. But Dragon number 4 should be coming up in about 3 minutes.
This is risky out of Stormage. He probably should have got out of that one a little bit earlier because 80 carry is in the top lane. Of course, no teleport going to be available for that person. As we just take a look at Fabulous farming in the bottom lane.
And Lucian farming up in the top lane. Supermassive content with where they are. Lucian going to get some small damage onto this turret, but Seros will move up into the top lane eventually on that Zillion. He's got 219 CS here, still behind Naru in terms of farm. Picked up the Morello Nomicon and the Iron Boots of Lucidity as well, so got a little bit of cooldown reduction in there, and has 10 stacks of that Rod of Ages for now.
Yeah, Morello Nomicon a little bit cheaper than Athene's Unholy Grail, of course, and has comparable stats, so understanding going for a cheaper build when you are behind. 8,000 gold pretty much is the lead right now, as wow, Naru does so much damage.
Chunks out catch there, forces the heal, and even with the heal coming out from the Lily, still at about half health here. So looking to try and siege this turret. Culling being popped very early to try and get some damage into Seros. He's able to sidestep that one, but this turret, it's going to fall down. Supermassive, they're 5 turrets to 1. Increasing their gold even further. They're about 8,000 gold ahead dead FM.
They are absolutely decimating Detonation FocusMe right now, and they're just doing it through surgical play. You know, moving around from objective to objective, taking absolutely everything. Dumbledore is pretty tanky, and he's got himself a Hex Drinker.
Whoa, he's looking for blood.
He's a battle poppy right now.
Oh, he's been fighting Eternal all game. I don't blame him, to be honest.
Hex Drinker's not going to do much against Eternal.
That's okay. Still can fight him, you know. Extra 80. Just smack him a bit. He doesn't want the shield. It's just the damage, mate.
Go a better damage item, Fish. Get a serrated Dirk for yourself.
Nah, BF sword. That's where it's really at. Poppies with BF swords running around the rift. Not for now.
You're a madman.
For now, he just has that Hex Stringer. Lock of the Iron, so he's going to be able to negate a lot of magic damage. This Dragon is going to respawn in about 10 seconds here. Supermassive should be able to take it down with ease, with that advantage that they have for now.
For now, their advantage is huge. Like, unless this game goes to 40, 45 minutes, it's going to be so hard for Detonation FocusMe to get a look in. And we already mentioned it, but Dragon being taken on cooldown means that this is a complete shutout objective-wise. I mean, they've picked up 1 turret, but that's it. Everything else has been on Supermassive's lineup, and this is what we expected coming out of the squad. You know, INTZ, they get upset by the Chiefs, they come out, absolutely smash their next opponents. Have to say the same thing about Supermassive right now. They come out a little bit of a disappointed showing in the first game of today, then they're able to completely come back against this Japanese lineup. So respect the heart that this experienced lineup has.
And they're going to continue doing that by taking down another inner turret down in the bottom lane with that
pretty much 10,000 gold.
With that 4th Dragon as well, that's a 6-minute timer on this game. Dead Focus, they haven't been able to do too much in this game so far. Or in fact, almost nothing at all coming out from this team. They need to do something soon and fast, because this is slowly, or actually, no, not slowly. I've been saying that too much. You've been calling me out on it. This is out of control.
Yeah, this game has quickly gone from bad to worse to absolutely horrible right now for Detonation FocusMe. So you're right. It's a big hole that they have to try and dig themselves out of, and maybe look for some catches here with the Zillion pickup, but it's not bearing much fruit right now. Maybe potentially get the Gragas in position for a flank, but honestly, I don't know really all that much that they can hope for.
Dead Focus.
Teleport coming out.
Gonna get teleported upon. Dead Focus all grouped up here. Poppy gonna try and channel the ultimate. Does get cancelled by the pillar, but Seros already taken out so low. Zeros also in the middle of it as well. Fabulous picks up the first kill. Seros comes back to life after the Zillion ultimate. It's not gonna matter. They take him down. Chasing on Utapon as well as a double kill comes out for the tree. Lucian picks up a kill as well. That was a clinical execution from Supermassive.
Yeah, it certainly was. Naru goes deep. He doesn't yet have Azonya's Hourglass, so he dies. That's where the good news stops, however, for this lineup, because the rest of Supermassive clean up the back end of that team fight, and they're on to Baron.
They certainly are. We're 5 members strong. Dead FM, they don't have the smite available, but I don't think they have the tools to get in there. Double Doge, the support is able to keep the jungler occupied. Misses the ultimate. Spear's going to come in, but Catch, he's been locked up against the wall. Fabulous gets in there as well with a twisted advance. Ultimate comes out from Kindred. Eternal runs out of the pit. That might have been a mistake as Lucian looking for a final tick of damage. He's going to get the last auto attack, and they get the ace as well as the Baron for Supermassive.
Yeah, so Supermassive now 4 members with the Baron. Pretty much unofficial ace coming out there as well. 13,000 gold the lead at only 30 minutes into the game. Let's have a look at what shop comes out of the AD carry. It is an Infinity Edge as well as upgraded boots. And wow, this game is just... It's going to be nigh on possible for Detonation FocusMe to come back.
13,000 gold, items to boot. Supermassive with the Baron buff. All the inner turrets are gone. The base is all that is left for Supermassive to take down. They picked up the red buffs. Storm Edge is going to try and pick up one for himself as well. This could signal the push coming out from Supermassive. They might pull the trigger here against Dead FM.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. 14,000 gold. They can certainly afford to push as far as they want. Naru has the Zhonya's now, so he won't die next time he goes for one of those risky engages. Dumble Doge, of course.
He's looking like a top laner. You know what? He's listening to you, Spawn. He's got that serrated Dirk here. He's looking to do some damage now. He's a character, Dumble Doge, with this puppy.
I love him. I think he's great. Beautiful burns the ultimate there. Not really much happening.
Seros going to get chunked out a little bit here from Naru here. Lucian able to take down the mid lane inhibitor turret all by himself. The Baron up minions doing some work there. The rest of Supermassive content with just trying to siege up this mid lane. Here's the tree and Lucian. They're going to be able to take down the inhibitor turret. No response from Dead FM. They're probably going to lose the bot lane inhibitor turret for this as well. They're going to put down the pillar. Look for the engagement of the Storm Edge. But a nice shield comes off Double Doge. Stops the engagers coming in. Immediately they take down Gragas. He's not going to be able to respond here as the rest of the mass is chasing on Seros. He didn't even use his ultimate. Double Doge goes in. They take down 3. This should be game for Supermassive. They're looking towards the Nexus.
Supermassive in 31 minutes. A complete shutout against Detonation FocusMe. You know, almost a perfect game there as they swoop in, pick up catch as well. Naru is a golden chicken. And order restored somewhat into the IWCI tournament.
The blue buff side buff has been cancelled here as red side picks up a game. Supermassive. I think the best way to describe that game was clinical. They played that solid from start to finish.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that, you know, you just gave too many power picks across to the lineup. And we said that Dumbledore was trying to make Poppy the ban that you throw against him, not the Bard. I think that game will further the cause a little bit more because he had a fantastic performance actually going towards more of Malmortius at the end. But there's a couple of areas in there, like never, ever give Naru a Azir. We just saw how good he is on it. You know, they lost touch with how fast that game was going, and Kindred was able to just absolutely explode. 17 minutes later, Devourer. There are just so many little mistakes that Detonation FocusMe will look back upon and be like, wow, that game got away from us a little bit longer than we thought.
And you know what, Supermassive, they never fumbled that. They had a couple of mistakes here and there, but it always looked good from them. And, you know, every single lane looked dominant, like you mentioned. Dead FM, they never really tried to do anything. They tried to gank up in the top lane with Italy, fumbled the execution a little bit, and right after that, it just looked like things started going south. And they threw out the Hail Mary, the teleports came in, just didn't work out for them.
Yeah, and you know, it's not really all that much of the fault of the Japanese lineup. I think that, once again, we just saw that Japan kind of looks like they have similar players, but that the experience factor and a little bit more class comes through from the Turkish lineup. And, you know, Utapon tried to hold his weight versus Fabulous. Fabulous comes out ahead in the end. You know, the duo lane looks like they're doing well against Lucian, Poppy. All of a sudden, first shop comes in. It's an BF sort. Lucian turns on the pressure. Flash dive out of Dumbledore. They're able to pick up a kill there. Mid lane deteriorates rapidly because Naru's just able to continually push him out. That means Catch has nowhere to gank. So if all 3 lanes lose simultaneously, it's almost never your jungler's fault that they lose out on the matchup.
So let's talk about the side of Supermassive here. And I want to start with Fabulous up in the top lane because we thought, you know, it could be Thraldrin being thrown into this mix, but they stuck with him for this game against Detonation FM. What do we think of his performance coming to this match?
Yeah, I thought his performance was much improved. Honestly, I think that his engages especially were very, very good. Once again, it wasn't a hard matchup to look good in because of how well the overall lineup did play for Supermassive. But between Thraldrin and Fabulous, like Fabulous played the finals. He was the one that got them here. They're both very good top laners. Can't overstate that enough. And they bring different things to this lineup.
And let's go into the middle lane for a quick while here, because you touched on this briefly. They gave over the power picks to the side of Supermassive. They allowed Zilean to go into that FM, but it seems like Naru's pick a lot more superior here coming into this matchup. He was able to use it so well against that FM.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was a pick. I just think that, once again, like, the lane is, the whole map is collapsing around Seros. Like, Naru is performing fantastically as well. So all of a sudden, there's all this added pressure. And, you know, bottom lane turret goes down. All of a sudden, the Azir gets a little bit more gold. You're starting to worry about these little things. So, yes, definitely Seros was a little bit outdone. I don't think it was necessarily champions. I think that has a lot to do with players as well. I think Naru is a very good mid laner. Seros is in his own right, but just not on the same level as Naru. So, it's something that, you know, both teams got their picks, and at the end of the day, Supermassive came out the better lineup. And
congratulations to Supermassive. They played really well in that matchup. Unfortunately, Destination FM have not been able to pick up a win here in IWCI so far. But for now, let's take a look at the results for day 2. It's going to start off the day with a massive blue side victory, all 6 games long. Chiefs Esports picked up the win against INTZ. Saigon Jokers hard-rated. INTZ will pull one back later. Lion Gaming took down Detonation FocusMe. Isris Gaming picked up a surprise win against the Saigon Jokers after a grueling slugfest between the two teams. And finally, to end off the day, Supermassive eSports were able to take the game off of DetonatioN.
They had my back. The blue side win streak is snapped, thank goodness. And yeah, what a performance out of Supermassive to round out that day.
They played solid. But let's take a look at the standings for now for IWCI so far after day 2 has been completed. Hard Random, like we mentioned, they're 3-0. Top of the table so far with 3 points. Not a single loss to the name just yet. Whereas Saigon Jokers, they dropped their game today going to 2-1, as well as Supermassive eSports after their loss to the Saigon Jokers previously. INTZ and Isris Gaming sitting at 2-2 on the 4th and 5th spots, fighting for that playoff contention later on in the week. As Chiefs Esports up, Detonation FocusMe and Lion Gaming are currently at 1-3, and only Chiefs Esports Club are ahead of them at 1-2 today.
Yeah, so right now, like, if you froze it right there, I think a lot of people would be quite happy, because that's kind of how we thought it would go. But the CIS region still to drop a Game Fish, looking phenomenal there. Chiefs fans out there still hope for the home squad, because they will be able to build their way back up. 1-2, not where they want it to be, but a good win today versus the Brazilian lineup at least gives the region hope. But Brazil and Turkey starting to make that pushback we knew they would.
And it's still one game between most of the teams here, from the top side to the middle to the bottom of the pack. But for now, let's take a look at the next games that are going to be following for tomorrow. As we take a look at day 3 of IWCI, it's going to be Supermassive taking on Hard Render to start off the day.
What a game 1.
It's going to be a massive game, in fact, as Hard Render is still undefeated, but this is going to be the team trying to take them on. Saigon Jokers take on the Chiefs Esports Club. INTZ try to take on Detonation's FocusMe. Hard Render had their second game against Isris, having resurging form after their game against Saigon Jokers today. Chiefs Esports Club will have their second game against Lion Gaming. Isris Gaming plays Supermassive after, and Lion Gaming play against the Saigon Jokers. So a lot of very even games coming into day 3 here.
There certainly are, and that game 1 and game 2 stick out like sore thumbs for games to be able to tune into. Supermassive versus Hard Random now will probably, in my eyes, determine like who is, as well as Brazil, the best in this composition. Hard Random looks so good so far. Kira in the mid lane is on an absolute tear. But also have a look between the Southeast Asia, the GPL, OPL rivalry that has been around for the last couple of tournaments, and whether the Chiefs can peg one back against the GPL squad.
And it's going to be a very important match for the Chiefs, because they are still a game behind most of the teams to play. So if they pick up that win, they're 2-2. They could potentially go 3-2 at the end of the day, close themselves back towards that playoff contention and back towards the top spot of the ladder. But like we mentioned, a lot of very important games here in day number 3, and it's still anyone's game leading into playoffs.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think that's the exciting thing, right? Only 2 teams currently on 1 and 3, so, you know, if you're Detonation FocusMe or Lion Gaming, back against the wall, but you're still not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. And the rest of the team, fighting chance. Like, it's game on right now at IWCI. Anyone can make playoffs, and it makes it a super exciting tournament.
And there's still one team that is undefeated right now, which is Hard Random. They're 3-0 at the moment. Do you think we're going to see that continual dominant performance going into tomorrow's matches?
No, I don't think you go through a group that is 8 teams strong undefeated. I think that is a very difficult task. However, Hard Random seems so far to be the pick of the litter. So if anyone could do it in this tournament, probably would be them, because they're the only undefeated team left. So it has to be them if anyone going to do it. But yeah, I think that they'll eventually will drop a game. And you know what? That doesn't mean they'll lose a tournament. It's just so hard to go through, like, what, a 5-6 day tournament undefeated.
Well, we'll have to see if they do drop that game. But that's all from us for now at IWCI. On behalf of myself, Spawn, all the other Play-By-Play casters, and our entire production crew, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more exciting matches.